Hello, I'm doing a video channel on work that I do at people's houses. I do a lot of little jobs here, there and everywhere. I'm a carpenter by trade, but I do so many other little jobs I do pothole repairs, mouse traps, well, mouse poison, put roofs on, build saunas, sort out swimming pools. I seem to do everything, or if I can't do it, I organise something for other people to do it. So I thought I'd do a weekly update of where I am, what I'm doing, and how it's all working out. So I've been quite quiet recently. I went on holiday, came back. I didn't have much enthusiasm to do much work, and because I am like my own boss, I sometimes don't do as much as I could do. But I've got lots of works just come in, so I'm going to be quite busy. So I thought I might as well do a couple of short videos just showing what's involved. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll try and do one a week or whatever. So if that's the sort of thing you're into, like and subscribe, and I'll keep putting them up. This is a lovely property, but there's a problem with the staircase because the gaps are too big. It'd be quite easy for a small child to fall through there. So the owners have asked me to see what I can do to make it safer and more compliant with the regulations. So I bought that. Everything's down to a price. I gave them options of what it would cost. I bought some 2x1, 50 by 25. I stained it. It's very difficult to match softwood to oak, but it is a sort of dark area. In fact, it looks worse on the camera than it does on the when you're there. So I stained it, then I cut the angles. Unfortunately, they're all different sizes, and then chamfered it. I used the router to put the chamfer on to match in with the other ones, and I'll let you see what I did from there. The spindles are all slightly different sizes, nature of it. So I've cut these the right lengths to fill in the gaps, and I'm going to start gluing them now, nailing them. They are a different colour. That is darker, but that's softwood, these are oak, and obviously we're on a budget here. The client's options were to get a price from me, which we'll discuss later, to put the spindles in, or to put plywood over it. And it's a big old traditional house, so it would be awful with plywood on it. So I priced accordingly. I know underpriced, but I'll work out how many hours it's taken me and what the materials were. So oak wasn't an option by the time it took to get it pushed and everything. So right, I'm going to start at the top. I've got my compressor, air nailer, and start firing some nails in. That's the first one in. Yeah, it is a different colour, but that's 3 coats of stain on it. Obviously I've got to put the stain over the chamfer that I've just taken out. So what I'm doing is I'm using the glue in the bottom and the top. Ideally, I'd love to chisel into this and the top, sink it in, do it at an angle. So chisel in at an angle and then pull the straight so it's located. You've got a good surface area of glue there, but budget, and yeah, I think I'm losing out on this job anyway, but it's a nice job. I'm quite enjoying doing it. I've just had a phone call where I've got jobs I priced from weeks ago. They've all turned in all at once. So I've got 2 bathrooms, kitchen, a renovation, everything, and everyone wants it starting tomorrow. So I'm going from looking for stuff to do to absolutely manic. So, right, well, people know I'm busy, so, well, I've told them can't get it all done at once. I'm just on my own, so. Right, tape measure. That's it done. It's funny because on when it's not on the camera, yeah, that looks more like it, because it is dark in the hallway. They all look very similar. So, but I'm sure they'll fade in. I don't know, even if I've got oak, I think they still look a bit out of place. I think we've got, yeah, you can see them. But that's apparently the reason they're doing this is to make it comply with regulations, because you can't get more than 100 mil between the spindles. But I think it's also a little bit low. But no one's mentioned that. So it was one of those, whilst you're here, the house is empty at the moment, and it's huge. There's so much of it, it just sort of goes round and round. So the boss lady's just gone. There she goes. She's the one who gives me the work. Yeah, there was secondary glazing on, I think there was 5 windows, and they're getting the cleaners in, so I've had to take those off whilst you're here. And another whilst you're here was, there's a shower cubicle downstairs, so you want that replacing, and I'll show you. There's a bath panel in here. So I'll put a plastic, I use shower board, not just white shower board, so it won't rot. It's made of plastic, and it looks nicer than the showers, the bath panels you get. And here is the shower cubicle, which the door's all broken on, so I've got to order a door, corner entry door to go on there. And one more thing, this is typical, isn't it? You come to do a bit on the staircase, and it's whilst you're here. Top floor, bath, the door panel, it's got a big split in it, and the doors come apart a bit, so I've got to fix that. And we've also got damp issues, but I think we need to look more onto the roof for that. Get the roofer to, I think whatever we do there, it's got to be dried out. It's got to make sure the water's not coming in still. But that's this job done. Well, for today, I'll come back and I'll get the rest of the bits and pieces done. After order the shower door, and I'll get it all done then. So next job, I've got meet the plumber now. I've just been given a 4-storey house, so we've got quite a bit of work to do in that. So that'll be tomorrow. I'll go and have a look, and I'll do a little video there so you can see what's going on. All right, check me out. I'm in the Nissan Micra. This is my car I'm using for work at the moment because it's just handy for parking. It's a bit to capacity at the moment, but I've got a Nissan Vivaro van, which is like a Renault Traffic, and it's quite big. So little jobs like this, it's hard to park. And I like the Micra. It's just easy and very cheap on fuel. Right, that's me, finished the day, so I'm off to meet the plumber. Right, I've just met with the plumber, and he came round and had a look at the pressurised hot water cylinder. And this particular one has not been serviced for a good 5 years. So what the problem was the pressure was getting lower and lower, and it was just struggling compared to how it used to be. So the plumber's replaced whatever these are, valves, and I'm sure he did that one as well. And he pumped that up. There's a valve at the top, it's like a bicycle valve, and he bumped it up to 3 bar, and now the pressure's back to as it was. It's great. So that's another job done. I think that needs a bit of a clean on top of that. This is the 4-storey building that I got the call from yesterday saying, can I sort out the bathrooms? They want a new floor. We thermal board the exterior wall, New bath, new loo, new sink, new tile. That's that one. Lovely, lovely building. Really tall ceilings. And these huge doors there. So it's just, they don't make buildings like this anymore. But there is the maintenance that you get with them. They need a new kitchen. That's a terrible layout, that. I'm sure we can do something better. That's the boiler. Right, pressurised system. Hopefully it's got a return. We've got to put a bathroom on the top floor. This is a 5-bedroom house. And it's got 1 bathroom, which is downstairs here. So there's 14 properties all the same. They're all owned by the same people. And what we sometimes do is put a loo in here, but not on this one. So, right, if we go upstairs, another thing we normally do is thermal board these exterior walls. You get a bit of a garden. Well, these are all rented out, these properties. I'll give you a quick look around. 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms. That's a small room, that one. 2.5. Trouble is, working up here, you've got to get all your tools upstairs. Another bedroom. Another bedroom. Right, so we've got sloping ceilings here. What they want is to stop this being a bedroom and make it into a bathroom. So the way we did it before was put a loo there, a sink there, and a shower here, with an extractor going through the ceiling. And the plumbing is a nightmare. I would go out there, but I don't know where the key is for that window. It's pretty high up here. So the idea is the shower waste has to run along the floor, back. The loo waste comes from here. They go into this void. And we bring them out here. We take this boxing off. I presume this is from the old pipes that went to the attic for the water tank. And we have to drop a 4-inch pipe, 2 feeds and a return down through the floor, down this corner here. And then when it gets down here, it goes through the wall, and I'll see more from the other side. Yeah, it's come out somewhere on the left of this window. There's there's constantly work going on here. So the soil pipe will come out there and we'll have to go at an angle and run down and join that. So we'll have to sort something out with the gutter down pipe. And the only other way of doing it is bringing it out the attic, which will be about there. And we could run it across and down. It just looks unsightly having all these pipes on the back. I'll have to speak to the client and see what else has been done on the other properties. Right, these have got them coming out the back. So that said the same thing, that said a bathroom fitted into the top room. So that's another option. That'll be a lot easier, but it just looks a lot messier. And that one looks terrible. They look much nicer without them. And I see over there they've got one as well. There's 14 of these buildings. There's another one on the outside. So a few of them have been done. All plans have been passed and it's been through planning and all that. Right, so I'll have to double check, because if we have the fall, if we have the pipes internally, the shower needs to go onto a plinth to allow the fall, to have enough fall for the water to get out. As for the kitchen, I think we'll keep the sink in front of the window, because normally kitchens have sinks in front of the windows, so you've got something to look at when you're doing dishes. That can't move. Washing machine goes there. We can leave a space here for a freestanding fridge. I don't know why it's got such a big gap there. They like freestanding cookers. I don't. I like the integrated ones. But they like the freestanding ones because they're easy to change if they break, because these are rentals. Or sometimes they rent them without a cooker and you bring your own. We'll change the extractor, change the units. That extractor's already got a vent going out to the outside. Yeah, so, and it's straight runs, there's no worktop corners, so that'll be a quite easy kitchen to do. Looking at the state of the floor, it's a wooden floor under here. I can imagine there's going to be a few surprises. It's not ideal having a shower against a window, so what they do is put perspex panels there, just to stop the water going onto the windowsill. Yeah, until the floor comes up, I don't really know what's involved under there. So I think I'll start stripping this out. I need to speak to them about the waste. The waste and all that's no problem here, because it just it's already there. So we just go into what's already there, and the pipe work. Obviously, we won't have external pipe work like that. That's what it's got. We'll get it from the bath underneath and then going up. But we can make that look nice. I'm in the, I suppose it's one of the bigger bedrooms. If I bounce up and down, that sounds like something under the floorboards. Vibrating, an old pipe or something. I presume there used to be a sink in here. I'll have a look out the window and see if there's any sign of any waste coming out. I started pulling out the bits in the downstairs bathroom, the only bathroom, and it's amazing how much rust has come out once I take the bath panel off. And the bath doesn't look that bad. It's got a chip, which normally happens when the shower head is dropped, or chips the bath. I'm not a fan of steel baths. That's not going to be too bad. The old ones are really heavy. Yeah, we've got variety of screws. I'm taking this out as well. It's got drywall screws, and then it's got torque screws, and it's got Phillips screws. It doesn't really matter what screws are in it. It's held it there for the lifetime. It's lifetime. I mean, the sink, it's not. Yeah, the unit's water damaged, so it's just time for a once over, and it'll keep it going for another 20, 30 years. All depends how it's looked after. I find the less things you put in, like vanity units, the longer they last. Right, we've got part of the floor up. I don't want, this is the only loo in the site, so I don't want to leave that till later, until it's ready for the new ones going. Purely for people working here, reasons for that. Yeah, this floating floor, the idea is it expands and contracts and it moves backwards and forwards, but the bath panel, the timber that the bath panel was fixed to, was screwed through the floor into the subfloor, so that will stop it moving, and then the toilet's screwed through it and it just pulls it apart in the end. The waste for the sink turns to copper pipe, so it's copper pipe that runs out through the wall, and the bath sink has got a concertina, I don't know if you can see it, flexi on it, which I'm not a fan of. And also we have, I think that's called reha, that plumbing, which I'm not keen on either, but you need a special tool to do the crimp ends, but we can leave that, we can reuse that. If the sinks go back in the same place, we'll do that. Yeah, the bath is rusting quite a bit under here, so that was just going to get worse and worse. We'll swap the copper waste for a plastic pipe. So what I'm going to do now is turn the water off, then I can take these pipes off from the tap connectors, and cap them, and then disconnect the bath with the same thing. That's got rehal pipe work on it as well. That goes to copper, so I can cap those, and in that way I can leave this feed for the loo, leave that running, and I can take the bath out, get that out of the way. Right, I found another tap. I've just turned that off under the sink. Try that one. That's it. Right, so that's the water off. It's damp smell in here. I don't know if there's something leaking or yeah, we'll find out more when we pull that out. Right, this is all switched off anyway. Boiler. That's the sink. Well, it's off really, just needs disconnecting, and I've just got to break the seal on the silicone around the bar, so I'll get a standing blade and do that. We're getting late in the day, so I'm not going to disconnect. I'm not going to pull anything out just yet. I'll pull it out tomorrow and cap it, so I can keep an eye on it and make sure nothing comes out. I'll put the water back on and make sure it's all going to be not going to have any leaks or anything. This radiator's had it. It's all rusty at the bottom, so that needs to be replaced. I'll speak to the client about that. Right, that's I'm going to leave it like that today. It's pretty well dismantled. I've got quite a pile of rubbish. I'll wait till it builds up a bit more and get the van taken done. Yeah, we're good. So I need to get a loo, bath, sink, shower door, and we'll have to find out if they want a built-in sink again or just a freestanding one, and find out what they want doing with the tiles and walls before I start ordering stuff. That's day one done. 3 o'clock. I don't want to go any further. So yeah, I found out more. It's good to see it. I know I've got questions now for the client, like if they want the waste pipe external or internal coming down from the top bathroom. I'm no plumber, I am a carpenter, but what I tend to do is lift all the floors, put the pipes in, get it all ready for drill the holes, fit the bath, fit the loo, fit the sink, and then the plumber comes along and connects it all up. So he's here for a minimal amount of time. With the bathroom upstairs, we're going to have to take a hot and cold feed and run it all the way up. I don't know, I'm going to get the plumber and find out what pipes do what. We've got central heating, and we've probably got the old feeds to the old water tank that's probably still in the attic. So yeah, all it seems pretty straightforward. I know it's a lot of work though, because I did it a couple of doors down. It did take a while, but at least I know the way I'm doing it now. Before it was all a bit of guesswork to start it off. And I did have to lift the floorboards under here to get the pipes to run to the other one that had the hot water under that side. So yeah, so at least I've got an idea of where I'm going and what I'm doing and what questions to ask. Yeah, we'll carry on when I get back tomorrow. I'll pull the bath and sink out and then probably start taking more boxing off upstairs and sorting out a pipe run. Day 2, we're on the job again. I've just removed the bath, loo, sink. The sink, these rehal connectors go to the normal flexible tap connector. So I've just put a ball stop valve on it, 1/2-inch ball stop valve, turn them off. I've just put a bit of pipe and a stop end on just to, sometimes if you don't turn them exactly off, they weep a little bit. This, I just cut the copper pipe and stuck a stop end on it. And these two, I bought these caps that go in. So I'll put that over a bucket and turn the water on and see what happens. But there's 14 buildings here. One of these buildings, the basement of most of them are flats. So there'll be a flat downstairs, and then 3-storey is the rest of this house, the main house. So we've got a store further down in one of the flats. That's where we keep all our stuff and bits and pieces. So there's a toilet in there. So I'm gonna leave that toilet off. It's not worth trying to work around it. My next job is the Bosch. It's got a chisel bit on the end. And I'm going to pull all these tiles off. So they want it tile floor to ceiling. So I'll pull these tiles off. It's going to make a mess of the wall. So this old lath and plaster wall, it's old Victorian, and yeah, it's going to be a bit of a mess. So what I'll do once that's off, I'll get some very thin wedgie board and glue that to the wall that can be tiled over, and we'll thermal board that exterior wall. There's not a great deal of it. Right, let's get the headphones on and start getting the tiles off. Right, that's it, all the tiles off, cleaned up. The tiles at the top were tiled onto paint, so they came off a lot easier. Some of them were over wallpaper as well, but you know, they stayed there for 20 odd years. One thing I have found is evidence of woodworm. So I don't know if that's been treated, if that's existing or whatever, but what I'm going to do, I think I'll pull the skirtings out, because we're tied into the floor anyway, and then I'm going to treat everything. I'll put some woodworm killer preventative up on the floor, and it's Thursday today, I'll do that on Friday, so it's got all weekend to dry, soak in and dry, and you know, I'll get a few floorboards up and spray onto the joists as well. So just whilst we're in there, it's not going to take long to do, so might as well get it done. It's amazing how the rubbish builds up. I've just phoned up the guy with the van who's going to come around and collect it. Well, I hope he will. So I've just sent him a video of what's here. We've got bags of tiles. There's 5.5 bags. The old sink, shower door, bucket of wood. Got small tiles in there. It's a steel bath, but it's a newer type, so it's not that heavy. Bath panel, just bits and pieces. So if I leave it, it's just going to clog up in here, and I've got to get the wedgie boards. I need space to put that, so it's just easier to get him, to give him a ring and go and dump it. And I could get my van and do it all, but there's different dumps. Wood has to go to one dump, steel goes to another dump, and you've got the rubble goes to one dump. So yeah, I'd spend half a day down there, so I might as well play him to get it done. Yeah, next job, I'm going to cut that copper waste pipe off. Well, I've just drained down the radiator so I can pull it off the wall. If you've never done that before, you just turn the valve off, pull the valve cap off and turn this off. Sometimes they've got, sometimes they've got an Allen key head. You just turn it in so it shuts it off. And there's a bleed screw at the top. If you want to do the bleed screw, it lets the water come out a lot quicker, but I'm a bit restricted as to what I've got to drain it. So I have to fill the dustbin out and put it in the bucket. So that's why I'm having a cup of coffee while I'm doing it. Yeah, that rad's really rusty, and you really don't want a leak. It's a pressurised heating system, so it wouldn't carry on leaking. It would only leak until the radiator's drained down, but there'll be a lot of water because it's 3-storey, well, it's 4-storey, but 3 stories above the boiler. Yeah, so you would get a lot of water out of it. Best to take off and replace it. I think I'm going to see what they want, because there's plenty of room for a heated towel rail in here. So we could get the electrician in, and he might have to just chase down a bit or do whatever he does to put a heated towel rail in, and we won't need to have a radiator then. Right, that's capped, but that's got a 3/4 size that needs a 3/4 cap. That's a 1/2 inch cap. But this is the important one. What happens is, if it freezes, which it won't do because it's summer, the radiator valve actually opens and lets the water in, so thinking there's a radiator there, so it just can cause loads of problems. That one's got the valve shut. I'd rather put an end on it, so I'll see what I've got, see if I've got something that can go on it. I've taken the brackets off the wall. I've got the boss coming around later, so she can have a look and see about heated towel rail. pulling the skirting off. I think I'll do that anyway because woodworm. And just have a look really. I've just come out to the garden. That can't be left like that. That's dangerous, that is. Looks like someone's bought loads of, or just got hold of loads of pallet boards and made up an area that's past its best. Right, I have to mention that to the owners. Oh, that's it. All the rubbish has been removed and taken away. Good old Marky came around and did that. The floor is being soaked now and with treatment to prevent rot, woodworm, decay, fungus and all that. It's probably been done before, but it won't hurt to put some more on it. So I'm not here tomorrow. I'm going to come back Monday, so it'll be nice and dry then. It's that day that we all like, it's Friday, so the end of the week, and I've gone up west of the island now. We're in a flat, that's Nigel Mansell's old house, that one. Anyway, yeah, the people have moved out and I've come in to do a bit of work. We'll just have a quick walk round. Some lovely views. Bedroom, bathroom, got the cupboard, there's a front door, kitchen area, I'm not sure what this dining room, bathroom, looks like another cupboard. Bedroom, another bathroom. Ah, this is what I'm working on. Right. That'd be a nightmare clean all them mirrors. We've got a problem with the bath, where the taps, I don't think it's ever been used because there's a shower. So the taps don't work and I don't want to force them, so leave that to the plumber. This shower is just old. The chrome is looking a bit tired. They want the seat and the handrail out. So what I have to do is take the door and panel out. I've got to replace the tray because the tray's all dated. But the trouble is, they've built it in. There is an extraction there. So I've got to make sure whatever I do isn't taller than that, because I don't want to get involved with that. We've got cove and everything. So I've ordered a tray. Right, you can see where it's been leaking. So there is water coming out of it. So I'm going to dismantle this, take the tray out, fit a new tray and fit a new enclosure. And also fit new panelling at the back, so there won't be any holes in it, and put a new riser rail. So I can do all that. I don't need the plumber involved. That's all basic stuff. So this is the ensuite for this room. They're sort of in transition of moving out, and I think this is going up for rental. Yeah, this is the first time I've worked on this. Oh, there's another room. There's 2 rooms. It is huge. Office. Is that another bathroom? Oh my gosh, it is. There's plenty of bathrooms. Right, so my other job, whilst you're here, there seems to be a lot of whilst you're here jobs, is the doors and windows. A lot of them haven't been used for a long time. And basically, anywhere you can see the sea, you tend to get corrosion on the mechanisms, doors and windows. Yes, that's all pretty seized. So the idea is today, I'm going to go through all the windows, see what's what, see what parts need ordering. Hinges usually break down. There's this plastic bit here snaps. They usually, you get a joint there, so you can tell when they're gone because you get a gap in this corner, and that's what lets the draft in. So a lot of people think the seals go, but it's very, very rare the seals go. It's usually the hinges, and it's quite easy to replace them. And if we find another door, I can get open. Yeah, this one's not too bad, but normally these corrode really badly. I think the other one is. I'll show you when I get it open. But we can get this one working well again. I just need to adjust it and lubricate it and give it a once over. Right, there's quite a few windows and doors to go through, so I'll probably be here a lot of the day. It's 2 hits. I'll go through, mark everything that I've done. I've got to write it down in my diary, and then I can measure up and make a list of everything I need. And then when I come back to fit the shower door and tray, I will replace all the parts on the windows and doors. Yeah, this one's not too bad. So this will just need service once over, adjust it up, make sure it all works all right. Looks like they've got a bit of water coming in there. It's possibly because someone's drilled holes in it, and there's probably something wrong with the drainage on the outside, because these do get water in them. No matter what you do, you will get water going into the frame, and their designs, they usually have drainage holes. See, that's the drainage hole. So any water that gets in goes through the drainage hole and comes out between the sill and the bottom of the window. So probably they've probably sealed up the outside on that. So yeah, we'll have a look at that anyway and see what we can do. Right, time to get the tools out. I'm starting in the I'm starting in one corner of the building, and then I'll work my way around clockwise. Otherwise, I'll lose track of where I've been and what I've done, because I'm not very familiar with this property. This is what I'm talking about with the rust, because even though it's not that close, you just get the salt air comes up. So with the door, the bottom pin is jammed. It's not going past. The mechanism, that's not too bad. We can save that. But really, we need to replace this. Replace the bottom. I might put a little coating of something to stop the rust. I've got this good oil, it's really good. And yeah, I think that's fixable. We'll give that a service, and that one as well. So I need to measure up and order some parts. eBay's quite good for bits like that. There is specialist companies, but they all sell on eBay, so it just makes life a lot easier. I can order them now while I'm here, as I'm going around. We've had a whilst you're here. This is the main bedroom. Well, I presume it is. It's the one with the best view. They've asked if I can fit panelling to the walls. They've sent me a picture of the type of panelling they want. So I presume it's all the way around. I have to check about, yeah, it might look a bit weird going around there, but anyway, I've asked for sort of a bit more information about what they want. I presume they want an idea of cost. I'll show you a picture of what they've sent me as to how they want it. The problem you get with doing that, it's only going to be like 20 mil further out, but it's the sockets, switches, everything. If there's not enough cable on it, if you haven't got 20 mil spare of cable, that can turn into a bit of a nightmare. And the radiators have got to come forward 20 mil. So you can, it's a concrete floor, You could probably bend those, but that's, you're risking it. And but what do you want to do? Do you want to chop the floor up and cut the pipes? It's a lot of work to move it 20 mil, and it is a nice flat. Yeah, this has just been valued, this flat, at £4 million. I mean, it's a proper flat. And the problem I have is a flat of this value, usually the carpets, I did one, I don't know if you can see it from here, it's just behind there. It was a big house, and the carpet in the room, it was a bit bigger than this room, the carpet was 12 grand. And I was working on the windows, and I thought if I drop anything or have a problem, it's gonna, could get very expensive for me. Right, so I'll wait to hear back from her. I'll just go around the windows and then see what she says about the panelling. But that'll be a future job. I'll come back afterwards to do that. I don't know how long this is empty for. Right, on further investigation, when you pull the handle up, there's supposed to be pins that go up and locate into these keeps. But nothing's happening, so we need to take the lock out and investigate a bit more. Right, the screws on these are Phillips screws. This is what I was talking about yesterday. If you use a posi drive screwdriver bit in that, you're going to struggle, and you'll probably strip the screw and have a right job getting it out. So this is a Phillips bit, PH2, so Phillips size 2. Next to it is a posi drive PZ2, and they've got little grooves sticking out that interlock with the posi drive screw. So if you use a Phillips bit on a posi drive screw, it's not going to work very well. It probably will work, but it's not going to do your bit any good, or the screw head. And then finally we've got a Torx bit. There's a lot more screws, especially stainless steel, because stainless steel is very good for weathering, but it's quite soft. So that would definitely rip if you had the wrong bit on it. So maybe that's why they do them in Torx now. So Torx are good, but yeah, you're getting more and more of them. It's a bit of a pain when you get your gear out and then find out they're Torx screws. But these are definitely Phillips PH2s. So a lot of people use the wrong bits. It just makes life a lot easier if you have the right bits. And I buy them, they're PZ2s, and I've got another packet of PH2s. PZ2s are the most popular. Right, these are all the keeps. They are for when we lift the handle up on this one. We've got these locators, extra security. So that's where they fit into. These aren't too bad. I can give that a quick clean up and put some rust preventative on it. These screws, the lower down they went, the worse they were. They're just so rotten. Now that the keeps are off the door, we've got access to the screws that hold this piece onto the door. So I need to take that off, then I can get access to the lock and get the lock out. Right, now we've got this piece off, we've got access to the mechanism, which you can see it does move a little bit. It's just all seized up, so as long as it moves a bit, we can probably get that working again. It's not rusty. It's probably just dry. It's probably, because it's a slave door, it's probably very rarely been opened. And that's the other thing I'll do. I'll open it right up and I'll put some lubricant on the hinges just to get it all going again. And this is where they start to go rusty. It's normally the doors that are top hung and open that way. The water comes down and it sticks to the underside, and that makes these mechanisms go a lot rusty. But these are easy to replace. You just undo the screws, take the handle off, slide it out, put a new one in, put the handle back on. Handles you can get, the hinges you can get, the glass you can get. That's why I don't understand why people replace plastic with new plastic. Everything is replaceable, and the plastic is plastic. It's rare it goes bad. So you can make them like new again. And to replace this, I don't think it'd be a couple of grand to get that done. What I'm doing to it, which will rejuvenate it and keep it going for another plenty of time, well, indefinitely if it's kept serviced, it's going to cost a few £100. So yeah, these should be serviced once a year. I've lived in my house 5 years and I've serviced them once in my house, so no one does it, but it's one of those things that should be done. And if you keep on top of it, you'd fix that before it went wrong. But you know, I think we can just about save this one. Right, to get this lock out, it's a lot easier if you've got the key, which fortunately I have. But it was a job getting the key out the lock, because it's probably never been out. This screw here locates the lock, so you take that screw out. This lock, usually, I'll take the handle off to make life a bit easier. Usually what you do is just rotate. Oh, it's got a bit of movement in it. It's a bit hard on one end. Yeah, maybe we need a new lock. Let me work on that. Right, so if you pull, it's easy with two hands. While you turn the lock, the key. And they're easily replaceable. And what I normally do is put something with a thumb turn rather than a key on the inside. So you can lock it without the key. Now I can take the other side of the handle off. Everything's a bit stuck because it's just a bit not being off. Now I'll just take all these screws out and I can pull the mechanism out. Well, this is the mechanism out, and it's it's a bit hard to do at one end, but it's very, very stiff. So I'm going to give this a good lubrication, get everything moving back, and use it, really give it some backwards and forwards and get it so it's working like new. These bits, there's screws underneath, and I know that one's going to be corroded. But I need to get these off because that's where the pin goes up and down. The top one's probably not going to be too bad. Oh yeah, that's quite free, that one. So I can probably leave that one in. I'll just lubricate it. Right, that's it done, apart from the top and bottom bits replaced. It does actually work without the, with them. They're still holding it together and holding the door in. So yeah, it's like new now. And this one, I mean, that was all seized before. Works fine. Yeah, just ordering those bits. I'm struggling to find them, but I'll keep looking. Right, this one wasn't too bad. It looks like it's had some work done. Those hinges aren't too old. And that looks quite a new mechanism. So I presume they've had someone in to do that the past couple of years. So this one was pretty seized. Didn't want to open. I had to force it. It was touch and go. Sometimes they open and other times they snap, something gives. So I've applied liberal amounts of WD-40 onto these hinges and the mechanisms. Just spray those on. You can see there's still those on there. And then you open it and close it and just get it working all the WD-40 into everything that moves. And yeah, then it works fine. I mean, WD-40 isn't ideal because it stays sticky and the dust sticks to it. But normally, I also use silicone lubricant because it sort of dries on it. But these are pretty bad, and they need some good lubricant on it. So I find if it's really bad, I use the WD-40. Right, rather keep them going. You know, they might clog up a bit, but they'll keep going. So that's another window done. Right, we're in the kitchen now, moving our way around. This is a bad one, you can see. It's lower in the corner than it is at the other end. It doesn't want to open more than that. So I'm going to have to I can tell they are totally knackered. I might be able to work it, but that needs a new set of hinges. So the hinges will be the same as this side. So I'll measure up the hinges that I need, and I'll make a note to replace them. If I force it open, the chances are when I go to shut it, this end will not locate. There'll be a big gap there, which isn't too bad because I can get around the outside and push it in. It's usually if it's one on its own, you need to get suction pads on it to pull it to get it closed, just while you wait for the hinges to turn up. So I'm not going to try forcing that, I'll just force it when I need to put the new hinges on. Right, for some reason these are always measured in imperial. So these hinges are 16" and they're classed as side hung. They would be hinged on these sides. They're not actually hinged on the bottom and top, but they're classed as side hung 16" friction hinges, and you can get them on eBay. There's plenty about. These doors, they just required a service. They weren't too bad, so I'll just give them once over. But what I have noticed is the door swings right the way open, and even it's not very windy today. There's a little bit of wind, but not a great deal. You can see the doors getting blown about a bit, so it's actually knocked the cement off the edge of the tiles. And you can see it did have restrictors, so you can get restrictors that will go onto the door, but there's different types you can get, and I think this one needs one that sort of stops it from opening and restricts it at 45 degrees, whereas this one's at 90, and it's probably got a lot of pressure on it and it's pulled it off. Yeah, it's been taken off. There's nothing on the top of the top groove. What about this one? Yeah, so it needs a new pair of restrictors, otherwise you're going to end up with, oh, there it goes. So the wind's just blowing it, and that's hardly any wind, so if there was a lot of wind that could do some damage. So I'll suggest, what I'm doing is anything I need, I'm making a list of it, and I'll suggest it to the client that we need to get some more restrictors on it. I've just noticed this lock's it's not locking, so I'll have to have a look into that and find out why. Right, because it's not locking, if you leave the door open and then try locking it and it locks all right, it means it's something stopping any of the locking points. So there's two at the top, one at the top, same at the bottom, these catches and these ones. So if it will lock now, it means the top and bottom are okay. It doesn't. So I would say this bottom pin is hitting something and it stopped it from going down. So I'll have to investigate into that, find out what it is, see if we can adjust it and then get it locking properly. We're in Jersey, we're up in a flat. There's the chance of this getting burgled are pretty remote, but you still want to be able to lock your door and make it secure. What I've had to do is use the drill and just drill out that there's a little bit of the plastic was like that, and it's right where the keep was going. So now they look fine. They look fine, and it's just I used to fit windows. This is how I got into window servicing. I was one of the first window fitters in Jersey for UPVC windows. They used to want carpenters to fit the windows, but obviously they got more and more popular, and there was more and more people fitting them. Well, they needed more and more people to fit them. So anyone with a hammer and a screwdriver were coming along and fitting them. And it's not hard to fit a window, but to fit it so it works all right is not so easy. And also, typically a door like this, the plastic is so weak, there's no strength in the plastic. If the glass wasn't in there, that would be, you could push the top open like 6 inches and the bottom would still be closed. They're so floppy. The glass is what gives it its strength. So you have to pack them up. It's called toe and heeling. You pack up this corner and then you pack up the top corner, which actually pushes the door up. It supports its own weight then. Because if you just put the glass in, the bottom would probably be 20 mil lower that side than it is that side. So you wedge these packers in, so the door is square, and then you repack these sides, keeping it all together. So anyone can stick the glass in, wedge the door up without the packers, bang the beads in, and it'll hold it in place until we get from summer to winter or winter to summer, and there's temperature changes, then everything settles and moves and the door drops, and you'll struggle getting it open and closed. So I got involved. That's where I came in. So I'd go out and I'd put them all right. We used to be on price. I used to make a fortune fitting windows back in the day when I was 21, I think I was. Yeah, so loads of people were making a lot of money, but then loads of the doors were going wrong afterwards. And it was gutting for me because I was making a fortune fitting them, but I got put on to window service engineer, they called me. So I'd go around and put all the mistakes right, which I quite enjoyed, but obviously the money wasn't as good. So I've just, it's not something I choose to do now. I do it and I am quite good at it, but I've got other things I'd rather be doing. So, but I do it if I like, 'cause as you're here, can you do it? So yeah, and it's quite satisfying. That wasn't too bad, but it wouldn't lock, and now it locks and opens and closes, and it'll keep going for many years to come. So that's, yeah, you get a good feeling. Right, carry on, because there's more to do. Right, these windows were actually all right, but what another thing people did when they didn't really know what they were doing was fitting them, they'd pull on the window as they put a fixing into the side. And what would happen is it would bow the middle out. So when you close the window, you'd end up with a gap along here and you'd get a draft. So that's more of a pain to fix. Especially these ones that aren't fixed through the side. These have probably got brackets on, which is how they used to be. And also, you can tell when the hinges are gone. That's gone nice and quiet when you shut those. You can hear straight away when the hinge is gone, there's a gap runs along this side. You can usually put a piece of paper down and feel for a resistance. If it slides out, it's a good indication that the hinges are gone and you're going to end up getting drafts. I've just gone to open this one, and this one is working fine. This is obviously, saying that, a little bit of a... Yeah, that's all good. I'll just put a bit of on the bottom. Some handles are push to unlock, push to open, like these ones, it's better. And others are push to lock. So if you don't know, you always have to try them without pushing it. Because otherwise you push them, and if they haven't got any keys handy, normally you'll find the keys by the windowsill. Yeah, you lock them and then you have a nightmare trying to get them open. So this, I just opened it enough to spray loads of spray on the hinge. And now I'm just gonna ease it in, try and get the open up a bit at a time while spraying loads and loads of WD on it. Because we don't want to, this bit of plastic, we do not want to snap that, because then they move apart, these bits, and there's nothing to hold that end in. This part here, this arrowhead locates, and there's a receiver there, and that's what holds it all tight. So as soon as that snaps, that doesn't go where it should be in. So we'll just keep working this one. So eventually we want to get it so it hits the stop. This goes as far as that little indentation there, which is Cotswolds. They were the hinges, friction hinges to get back in the day. So I don't know if they're still going. Probably China now. Yeah, that's working. That's working fine. So I'll keep spraying it, keep moving it. I've sprayed the mechanism. I'll keep moving that, and then that should be good to go. Yeah, I reckon if that had been left any longer, the hinge would have snapped and it would have been a new hinge job. And a window that size, there's quite a bit of weight in that, and you have to push the window out before you can pull it in. To change the hinges, you unscrew the hinges that are fixing the hold. That's what holds the actual sash in, and the top, undo the top ones, push the whole window out, turn it at an angle and bring it in. And there's no way I could do that on my own. I did when I was younger. I used to tie my belt to the radiator, I remember doing before. because it was so heavy, I thought if it goes, I don't want it pulling me out the window with it. But those days are gone, not doing that anymore. So if that needed replacing, if it had internal beads, I'd disconnect the beads and take the glass out, and then it'd be a piece of cake because it'd be so light. And I'd put it on cardboard or something inside and replace the hinges and then put it back in again and put the glass back in. But this is externally beaded, and yeah, if that breaks, you're best off using 2 people to put it back in and then take the glass out and replace the glass. So yeah, well, fortunately we haven't got that problem at the moment. Window, it works freely up to about there, both of them, but that's the stop for the hinge, so there's that much more it could open. But because this is probably as far as they get open, they don't, that's all they're used to doing. They're not used to going past there, so I'm gonna have to ease them in gently to get them, I'm gonna get them right to the stops. Just so, because there's new tenants coming in and they're gonna wanna open them up. If they do want to open up all the way, that's when you'll get the problem. So I'll sort it out now so it's ready for opening right up to the restrictor. Right, opens up, no problem, all the way to stop. Now, these are dirty inside, but not as bad as some of the other ones are. But that's not down to me. I'm not, I can clean them if the people want that. If they think a servicing involves cleaning, I'm happy to do it, but they'll be paying me a lot of money to do it. And people have got cleaners. People who live in places like this have got cleaners, so they're better off paying their cleaner a fraction of what I'll be charging and get them to clean them out. I've met the guy who owns this flat. He's a lovely guy, really is a nice guy, and I think he's gone into he's getting old, so he's not living here anymore, and that's why they're looking at renting it out. But he's a really nice guy, and you know, it's a lovely flat. It you know, obviously they're in transition of moving, but before you think he's going to be a lawyer or doctor or whatever, he owns a laundrette. So it just goes to show, work hard, you can get on in life. You don't have to be privileged or entitled. You can make your own way and get successful if that's what you want to do, just by working hard at it. One last thing I always do on the way out, there's the front door. I just spray a bit of my lubricant on the latch. Nothing wrong with it to start with, but it just makes it super nice. I mean, you've got it, you're on your way out, might as well do it, just a little finishing touch there. A tip as well, or what I've noticed on the way out, is they put foam pads in. And the reason they would have done that is because I can imagine the door doesn't quite shut, there's a gap. And it was probably rattling backwards and forwards. What the problem there is, this latch is worn. You can imagine if there's a family here and people are backwards and forwards all day, it's going to take a lot of punishment, that. So that's what causes that. So, but I mean, it's not a problem. They've got foam pads on. If it was, sometimes they get really bad, and then it'd be time to change the lock. And I find now that's probably a decent quality lock there. But there's a lot that aren't so good now, and they tend to be quite loose to start with. So, but that probably depends how much it gets used, but that's working quite well at the moment, so I wouldn't advise doing anything to it. It's just obviously was a problem. I probably would have done it rather than putting the felt pads on, but I'm a carpenter and that would have, once it starts going, who knows, but each their own. Right, that's me off now. I think that's me for the rest of the week. Well, it's Friday, so that was a week's work in that video, but I didn't video anything on Monday because I should have done, but I didn't even think about. This is all like relatively new thing for me, doing this sort of work. I've got my other channel going, but I'm always doing this sort of work. I do this every day. The other ones as and when I can squeeze it in. Let me know. I mean, I'm intrigued as to if there's going to be any interest, if anyone's going to see what I do. Am I going into too much detail? Should I not be explaining so much? Or do you want to see more of how I do things and how it's done? Let me know if you're interested. If you've watched till the end, fair play. I do this thing day in, day out. I do so many different things. There's such a variety, and I do enjoy what I do. So it doesn't take much longer to do a video. It'd be a bit awkward if the client was here, because it might make it a bit difficult. And hopefully they don't mind me doing a video. Yeah, so thanks for watching. If you think I could improve it in any way by changing anything or doing anything slightly different, obviously I'm not going to get someone to walk around with a camera. I can't put a tripod up and I'm working on someone's house. Obviously this is on the price, this job, so it doesn't matter if it takes a day or a week. They're still going to get charged the same amount of money. Yeah, so it's going to be a bit, if I can video with one hand, I'll try and do a bit, but I'm not going to show, I don't know how many windows there are here. I don't want to show the same thing on every window. Yeah, next week I've got a few jobs. I'll probably carry on with the bathroom, start with the bathroom upstairs, rip the kitchen out, get stuck into the crescent job. But there'll be other bits, and there'll be more whilst you're there jobs coming in. So thanks for watching, and see you next week.